Advocates, Mary Jane, local Canberran, has been on the coalface for a long time, standing out front of that Parliament long before many of us were on a Sunday. She'd like to give you a few little clues on navigating the territory ahead over the next few weeks. What do you reckon? Please welcome Mary Jane.
Thanks very much, Mark. And Mark also has been on this trail for a long, long time, helping us with things, important things like sound. And a huge shout out to Matt, also here, who's doing my video. Look, who here has done something to create change? You want to give me what have you done? Just shout it out. Everything. Wearing a t-shirt with a message. What else? Harassing the media. Okay, exposing SRA and why it happens. And what are some of the actual things you've done? Yep. So you've been talking to a lot of people, sharing information. Absolutely. Coming to rallies is another thing. I don't know. Have you seen any of these on the roads around Canberra? Let me tell you, you don't know what you don't know. And you hear a lot of new information, and sometimes you go, I don't know if that's true or not. But this is firsthand from my experience. Let's say this costs $10, right? So in the Informed Medical Options Party, which is Michael Sims and I running in Canberra, as a platform to share the message, okay, to share the message to the normies, we've got 80 of these, so that's $800, right? Is that right? My math's right. Okay, so you don't know what you don't know. So we went round, Michael Sims and I, two of us, took us 3 days, and we hammered them in logical spots where we thought, not at roundabouts, that's a bit dangerous. Maybe near an intersection, right here. So we get a letter from the ACT government, and it says, oh, yeah, no. We've collected 40 of your signs because they're in the wrong spot, and you've been warned, okay, and next time you'll get a fine. So we had to go on a Tuesday or a Thursday between 9 and 4 and to the depot and pick it up. And what we discovered was that we're creating a lot of jobs. These things create a lot of jobs in the ACT government. So there's a bloke or two or three or a girl or a woman who drives around town all day and picks them up. And he measures, I'm guessing, or maybe he knows or she knows, 20 metres from the intersection, and if it's 19.5 metres, nah, it's going. And he takes a photo and he writes on the back of it exactly where it was, the date, the time. Pops it in his truck, and he does this all day and then drives it back to the depot, drops it there. And then another man or woman puts that into a database. And then another man or woman issues 2 letters. Not just to me, but to all the candidates, and then we have to do. So how many man hours, staff hours is that? Huge amounts. That's our taxpayer money being used to fund that. Now, we got a warning for the first 40, and then we got the fine. Who can guess how much the fine was for one? $220. The prize goes to Mark. $220 for one fine. So we that was the first batch. So we've gone round and very carefully tried to reposition them. But you can imagine there are a lot of other candidates who have got a lot of signs in places that they're going to get tens of thousands worth of dollars. So that's all by way of saying, where's that money coming from? Who is behind these so-called independent candidates? And that's where, in this run-up to the election, whether or not you are aware of the intense corruption behind the election, and therefore the whole thing is a sham, you know, you've got to understand the sham to change the sham. So this is where each one of us, who's willing to learn a little bit about how the election works and what it means. Who knows what electorate they're in? Okay, that's a start. Who knows what state they're in? Okay, so when you're in a state, who knows that there's the Senate and the House of Representatives? Okay, and who knows that there are 2 different sets of candidates. So for example, So for example, Michael Sims and I, with the Informed Medical Options Party, we are in the ACT Senate. So if you're registered in the ACT, you can vote for us no matter what electorate you're in. So for example, in Canberra, there are only 3 electorates. Doesn't matter which one you're in, you can vote for us in the Senate. And the same in New South Wales. Doesn't matter what your electorate is, you can vote for any Senate candidate that you like. So I would encourage you to vote one of the Freedom Parties. Informed Medical Options Party is one of the original Freedom Parties. So for example, I see the much loved Ricardo Bossi is here today. Just saying, you can't vote for him in Canberra. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but you can absolutely work behind the scenes for him. There is, in fact, to my knowledge, no A1 candidate here in Canberra at all. So please, before you go into the polling booth, please familiarise yourself. I mean, I'm happy to stand corrected, but to my knowledge, there isn't. Please just know what state you're in, know what electorate you're in, and then go to the Australian Electoral Commission website, aec.gov.au website, and you can put your postcode in there and it will give you the list of candidates who are available. And then please start investigating, because not every independent is as independent as you may seem. There is Climate 200, which has a list on their website of all the Climate 200 supported quote-unquote independents. So this is who's willing to learn a little bit. I mean, hey, I didn't know all this stuff either. Good. Okay, that's 3 people. Who else? Beautiful, beautiful. Now, I would encourage everyone to vote, right? And it's your choice if you choose not to, but you can still contribute to a clean campaign. How? Scrutineering. Who would like to see what happens inside on voting polling day, right? As a scrutineer means somebody who checks it out quite carefully and closely. On the Australian Electoral Commission website, there is a little scrutineer's handbook. I've got a copy of it printed out here. It tells you all about it. It's not complex. There's a lot of things you might need to know, but it's a learning experience. It could be really interesting. I can do it too, and I'm thinking if I'm still standing at 6 o'clock on that night, then I might do it. You have to apply to be a scrutineer, and you have to have a signature from a candidate, okay? So you can't just rock up on the day and go, I'm going to be a scrutineer. You have to kind of get a bit of paper and have that signed by whichever candidate you want. It does not mean you're voting for that candidate, and it does not mean that you're voting for anybody. And indeed, when you're a scrutineer, you cannot wear or show or speak any politics. You can't wear one of these t-shirts. You have to change your t-shirt. So there are many ways you can contribute to creating a cleaner, fairer, more just, more humane, more truthful, honest, transparent, accountable Australia. You just pick 1 or 2 and do that. But the doing is what's really important. So please have a think about what you can do. Michael Sims and I would be delighted to have a helping pair of hands to just share the message. The message for the Informed Medical Options Party is truth, transparency and accountability. And that goes across the board, because we cannot change the one thing that's most concerning you unless we ensure there is truth, transparency and accountability in Australia. Personally, I am going hard on the Bill of Rights. We need a Bill of Rights to cover everything from travel, bodily autonomy, gun ownership. Hey, I'm a member of 3 gun clubs. Who knew that? So it's independent, human rights for every living man and woman, and that's why I am doing every conceivable thing I can. And I encourage you to please do that. Whoever you are felt drawn to, go and talk to them. I'll be hanging around here for a while, an hour or so, until no one comes and talks to me. I'm happy to help you understand your electorate better, the scrutiny system better, anything better. Thank you very much. Remember, Mary Jane Liddycote, Mike Sims, Vote 1 Informed Medical Options Party. Thank you.
All the very best. Thank you. That's great, Mary. Thanks for coming along today. That is fantastic. Well, certainly one